Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
It's a great day. I'm Mark Imperial. For the past 7 years, I've scoured the globe looking for noteworthy experts, businesses, people, places, and things. On this special edition of the show, we'll meet some of the world's leading professionals in health, nutrition, and fitness, people from all across the country, around the world, and in your town. On this segment, my guest is Zack Todesky, founder of Top Level Fitness out of Naperville, Illinois. Zack, welcome to the program.
Great to have you. Thank you.
Zack, so tell me, what's your specialty and who are the types of clients that you help?
Like I said, my name is Zack Todesky. I'm the founder and owner of Top Level Fitness in Naperville. What we do is mostly work with the busy moms and pops or professionals who, for one or another reason, they kind of get out of their routine of working out, or they've tried something to do on their own. They've tried the big box gym and the videotapes or whatnot, and they just cannot get the results they want. So I would say our typical clients are moms who, usually after they have a couple of kids or a kid or two, they now it's time for them to get back on shape, or dads who are busy running on their professional life and they don't have the time to figure out things on their own. So they come in for a practically done for them solution where we give them everything, from the start, setting up the goal to what they want to accomplish and how they can accomplish those goals, and keep them accountable in a way to reaching their goals.
So we've just hit a new year, Zack, and I know that at this time of year, the number one resolution in the world is typically weight loss. I'm finally going to shed those pounds. But I also know that so many people fail at meeting those goals. They may get something started and they quit. Have you seen that? And what do you find causes this this to occur and people not reaching their weight loss goals?
Sure. Well, I'll be honest. It's just a common thing we see in typical human behavior of people wanting to accomplish big goals or setting up big goals, or to be honest, I don't even call them goals for most people. I just call them wishes or desires or dreams. But they don't go strategically to implementing those desires. They don't make them to a goal so they can accomplish what they wanted to accomplish. So yes, we do see a lot of people, starting to the working out, or this is the biggest time for the big box gym. So what make us different than most of the gyms is we completely taking that approach out of the picture, and we setting up realistic goals for our clients. We're figuring out what they have accomplished before, what they want to accomplish, and figure a roadmap, a ways how they can get there. So my advice for people who are just starting now to avoid that failing trap of, going to the gym for a month and being, everyone's working out. So what people do, they go to the gym, get frustrated because there's so many people. They can't even find a parking spot so they can get to the gym. And they cannot even figure out what they do on their own, because most of them, they think that just running on a treadmill it's enough, or just having the gym membership it's enough. They don't get the guidance. They don't get the help from somebody who is more educated, and they fail. And they do it multiple times, and they start thinking that it's their fault, and they cannot change, which is completely opposite. It's the mistake, I would say, also of the gyms providing that they're not providing the right solution. So my tip for those people is find help, find a coach, find somebody who can keep you accountable. If you've tried this before and if you're not successful, now it's time to find somebody who can help you, or find a solution that will be good for you, fit in your schedule, fit in your lifestyle, that can help you get you where you want to be on the easiest, fastest way, so you can reach your goals and live a happier life. I always say to my clients, fitness is not to be a full-time job. It's to help you have a better life, to help you with everything else you do in your life, from your profession, from having more energy for your kids or grandkids or whatever the case, or just having more energy and more strength in your life so you can do your fun things. That's where the fitness comes in. And fitness should not be a struggle, should not be something going to get you out of comfort zone that much. Yeah, maybe for a short period of time, you need to get out of the comfort zone so you can accomplish those goals. But if you structure it in the right way, it can be a really fun thing to do and really, make you feel great. One of the most famous saying of Tony Robbins is, there's no food that tastes as good as looking good feel. So we're all looking for that look good accomplishment, but also what I would suggest is sit it down, write it down your goals, and see what's your why. What's your biggest why you want to do this, and use that as a driver to get you where you want to be. Don't just waste your time and really focus on accomplishing those goals.
I think you said something really important when you used the word accountability, and I find that's what the big box gyms lack. I don't see, they kind of let you in. It's like a self-serve sort of situation, and it's no wonder people fail. They don't know where to start, and they don't actually know what they should be measuring, so they don't see any progress. So what for you, for the clients that come to see you, for the prospects that come to see you for the first time, what are like one or two of the biggest questions they have for you?
Well, always the biggest question is, even if they don't say it, how they can accomplish their goals and how they can lose weight. Most people want to lose weight, tone up, have more energy, feel good. So that's why we have a program which is structured completely in a different way. So our approach is like this. When you're interested in our services, the first thing we do is have you come in, sit down with a coach where we can better understand you, go over your history of working out, medical history, any injuries, any limitations, and focus on your goals and what you're trying to accomplish. And based on that, and figure out the structure, how we can get you there, give you the advice, set up nutritional program, run full body diagnostic. We use a device called InBody, which is giving a complete picture of what is your body fat percentage, what is your muscle percentage, what is your water content in your body. So we have a full picture of where you are, where do you want to go, and how we can get you there, and set up the program so we can get you there. On top of that, we have the accountability. Each of the client is set up with a coach who's going to keep you accountable outside of the gym, following up with you regularly, setting up desk dates appointments, which is a checkup appointments to remeasure, to answer any questions regarding nutrition. Make sure we ask our clients to log what they eat, and so we can check if what they eat actually is supporting their goals. Make sure that what they do in the workout is the right thing, and definitely during the workouts we keep an eye on, we monitor and we guide them and encourage them to do better, to do more, get stronger, focus on their form, focusing on doing the right things instead of hurting themselves. So it's a complete guidance instead of just renting a space or renting a machine so people go ahead and working out on their own. I mean, I've been in the industry for such a long time, and I don't have a motivation to work out on my own going to the big box gym. So we all need that accountability. We took the approach like in the school system, we all working out in a group, and we have somebody, the teacher, keep us accountable about accomplishment. And, you're doing your homework, you're doing things you need to do so you can get to the next level, next grade, to high school, to college, to graduation, and all that, so we can get you successful. They can get you successful in your life. Kind of same thing, same approach we're doing in our program in Taking Fitness.
Earlier, you said that a lot of people try to do like DVD workouts on their own, and it seems like every week or every month there's a new workout DVD on sale on TV. Does that lead to a lot of misinformation, do you find, or misconceptions in fitness for people? Have you found that?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. The difference is the personal interaction. I mean, you cannot replace personal interaction with a DVD. It doesn't matter how good the DVD is. I always say you can find workouts everywhere you want. You can go on YouTube and search for workouts, and there's going to be millions of different advices. But who do you trust? And is that customized to your needs and to your goals? We all have some kind of problem. Is it a back problem? Is it a knee problem? Or in general, do we have lack of time or focus or attention or whatever the thing is it's our where we need to customize. That's where the personal interaction come in, and different people want to be held accountable in a different way, or it's working different things. That's why we see a lot of people doing those videotapes, and they will do it for a month. They get bored. Nobody's keeping them accountable. Nobody gonna follow up with you if you don't show up for a workout. You can just keep that DVD video today, and nobody gonna know, and that's just gonna snowball to that's why we have New Year. Most people start working out because everyone's postponed it. I'm going to start on the 1st of January, 2nd of January, right after New Year. And, a lot of people do, but what we found, the statistics is showing up that by March, 80% of the people who start in January, they're already not going to the gym and they failing their goals. So the DVDs can be great, but they're not really the most effective tool for most people.
Zack, you know a ton about this, and you've been doing this a long time. So give us a little bit of a history. What inspired you to get into fitness and personal training? How'd you get started?
Well, like you can hear from my accent, I'm originally from a country called Macedonia. Was part of the former Yugoslavia in the Balkan. I was growing up, kind of limited of playing as much sports professionally. A little bit, I would say, from my parents. They want to focus on school and everything, but I always wanted to play sports. I wanted to do something. And I started fitness when I was like 14, 15. When I was in my 20s, I started going to college, but I was so involved in fitness that was everything I was talking to all my friends. So somebody gave me advice here, like, okay, why don't you go in school for this? Like, I learned something, make something out of this. So I decided to do that. I got I went to a second college abroad, one of the best 2 colleges in Europe, where my major was bodybuilding and fitness coach. Basically, I'm a fitness coach or coach helping, coaches how to become coaches on a way. And my second or minor was physical education teacher. So I graduated the school. I started working as a personal trainer. I don't know if you ever heard from island called Nantucket on the East Coast, training 101 in 2010. I moved here in Naperville area. I started from 5 clients and, growing the business and just helping people, educating myself. I spent tons of money and time every single day, every single year of investing in my education. So my education never stops. And the approach I take is not just helping people with the fitness, but helping people to, like I said, implement fitness so they can have a better life. The way I see it, there's a more, spokes in the wheel, not just the fitness, relationships and, religion and job and hobbies and everything. So when I teach people, I teach how they can get that balance in life and get most of it out of everything. Now, I cannot help them with everything like I can with fitness, but definitely I want to make sure they understand where fitness fit and how we can get it to the next level. So yeah, we've been successful. I've been successful in growing and getting better and in changing lives. Actually, as we're speaking now, in 2 weeks we are moving to a new facility in Naperville. It's double the size from what we have. We're moving to 6,000 square feet facility.
Oh, wow.
And, for the first time ever, actually, we are starting I don't know, this is a little bit a plug for me. We're starting a challenge. I wanted to help so much people that I decided to put a program where actually we're going to help people for free. So we are running a 6-week challenge where we're going to help people to lose 20 pounds or more or 5% of body fat in 6 weeks, absolutely for free. And only thing we want in return for them to successfully complete the program, follow directions, and to use their success so we can show people that this program works. Definitely it's not for, everyone. And, need to be, committed and completing the program, but it's a 6-week program and they're going to get all the help they need. So
that's a fantastic offer.
I'm passionate about helping people. Yeah.
Yeah. For our listeners out there, for people who want to get information on how to join your program, it's a very generous offer you're making here and get fit in the New Year's. Where should they go to learn more about that and to sign up for that program?
We have a page. It's called 6weekschallenge.com where they can go ahead and register and basically we do like a free orientation. They just need to show up. One we have today, this week, on Thursday at 8:15 p.m., and we have another one on Saturday at 10:15 in the morning. It's a free orientation, and when the orientation, they come in, we give them all the information about the program, show them around, explain them how everything working, and make sure, and they fill up application, and based on, see if it's going to be a good fit in terms of physically, if they can do the program, and if they can commit to doing the program, they can join the program. And like I said, we start on the 16th of January. It's a 6-week program. It's absolutely, free. But definitely it's going to need a commitment of their side. So we don't take everyone who will decide, because most of the people they will drop on the second week. So be really careful who we take in.
Oh, that's great. I'm on the site now, and just to clarify it for our listeners, that's 6weekschallenge.com, and it's spelled out. It's not the number 6. It's spelled out SIXWEEKS challenge.com. That's fantastic. Zack, hey, it was terrific speaking with you and having you on the program today. I wish you continued success for you, for Top Level Fit, and hey, congratulations on your new location.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be fortunate enough to be able to help people change lives. So thank you for your time.
Yeah, congratulations, Zack, and best of luck to you. TopLevelFit.com, 6weekschallenge.com. And congratulations and good luck and Happy New Year to you and all of your members.
Happy New Year to you and to all your listeners. And until next time.
And this is another special edition of the program on health, nutrition, and fitness. On this segment, my guest is Larue Cook from LEC Fitness out of Alexandria, Virginia, and Vero Beach, Florida. Larue, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mark. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Larue, tell us a little bit about LEC Fitness. Give us a snapshot of it and the types of folks, the types of clients that you help.
Sure. I started LEC Fitness back in 1993. Pretty much at that point, working with general fitness clients. Since gone on to specialize in working with post-rehab training and injury prevention. Also specialize in working with strength and conditioning for female athletes. And last but not least, I do tennis-specific fitness and conditioning for tennis athletes of all levels of play.
So how do your clients find you, Larue? It sounds like you're doing a bit of traveling there.
That's correct. I do a lot of writing for several sports and fitness publications, and quite often people will find me through those writings, as well as I do some spots in terms of presentations for certain groups, and that has helped a lot in terms of getting my name out there.
Oh, excellent. So give me an idea, like when people come to see you for the first time, is there a common challenge that those folks all have that they're looking for help with?
That's a great question. I'd say the first challenge that most people have is one of time. Quite often they have stayed away from regular exercise due to time constraints. And so the first challenge is getting them to understand that they need to make time for this most important part of their life, which is their health. Sometimes that's a high hurdle to get over, but once you've gotten them to understand that it's better to prevent problems than it is to solve them once they have them, then quite often they figure out that they actually do have some time out of that 24-hour day to make time for themselves.
So they're finding you through your writings and through your work. When they finally get to you, do they have any big questions? What are 2 or 3 of the biggest questions that you get from your prospects?
Well, let's see. I would say one fairly common thread is dealing with weight loss. It seems to be a big one. Mm-hmm. Even for people who are fairly fit, most people are wanting to lose an extra pound or 2 or even more. That would be one thing. A second one is dealing with some of the common injuries that we have that develop just through our everyday living. We develop a lot of asymmetries in our physicality, and so they oftentimes lead to injuries. So dealing with something that's maybe chronic, that's a literally a pain for them is another common thing that I deal with a lot.
On the weight part of it, when people come to you for weight loss, is it that they've been misinformed, have some misconceptions about what's effective in weight loss? What kind of questions are they asking you?
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's so much information out there, some good, some bad, about the entire weight loss and obesity subject matter. What I try to get people to realize is that oftentimes when they're talking to me about losing weight, they're much more interested in talking about losing inches. So the weight factor is less important in my mind than that number on the scale is less important than looking at what their weight is composed of. So we're oftentimes trying to get them to understand that we're looking at reducing body fat as opposed to actually losing pounds on the scale.
Oh, that's a good point, because muscle weighs more than fat, right? So if they're looking at the numbers, it could be misleading. They could be looking great and keeping the same number.
Well, exactly, and muscle and fat basically weigh the same. What they do is they take up different amount of space.
Oh, is that right?
And so I remember, yes. So they weigh the same. And one example that I like to use, I like to talk and train by analogy. When I was in physics class back in college, one of my professors said, okay, so if I'm standing on top of a third floor building and I drop 100 pounds of feathers and 100 pounds of bricks off the roof, which one hits the ground first? And of course, the students are like, the bricks. And he says, no, 100 pounds is 100 pounds is 100 pounds. The feathers just will take up a bigger space because it takes more of them to make up 100 pounds. Mm-hmm. That's the same concept with body fat and with muscle. So muscle will weigh the same. A pound of muscle is the same as a pound of fat, but the muscle will take up less space.
That makes a lot of sense. So that's why you're focusing more on the inches and...
Exactly.
Got it. Right on. So what... could you give us what your view is? As you mentioned, there's a lot of misinformation out there. Well, there's a lot of information out there. It seems every week there's a new DVD video set of the hottest workout that is guaranteed to work. How do you see that? Is there a balance of cardio and strength training that you find to be really the magic formula?
Yeah, I think that rather than I try not to micromanage percentages or things like that, but I think that what's a good basic principle is that you do necessarily want to include both the aerobic component as well as the resistance or the strength training component. The aerobic component, I like to, again, analogize that to driving a car, let's say. Mm-hmm. So if I want to, the aerobic component would be similar to me driving my car really, really fast. So I rev up my system, I burn more calories, or in the car situation, I burn more gas. But eventually, I'm going to have to slow down, and unless I do something that's going to keep my system revved up, I go back to my normal calorie burn or my normal fuel burn. So the resistance training part of that equation is more akin to me putting a bigger engine in my car now all of a sudden. So even when I'm driving at a slower speed, I'm burning more fuel, aka more calories. So by doing the resistance training, I'm developing not necessarily bigger muscles, but at least more lean tissue, and that's going to help me burn more calories even when I'm not driving fast or doing my aerobics.
You see a lot of information out there about aerobic and anaerobic. Could you add some clarity as to what's the difference between aerobic and anaerobic, and what's most important?
Sure. Aerobic essentially means with oxygen, and anaerobic has been defined as without oxygen, although that's a slight misnomer. Basically, an aerobic exercise is one that I can do that I can do it on a continuous basis. So my body is supplying enough oxygen to the muscles so that I can maintain that particular activity over time. So think of walking as an aerobic activity. Sleeping is an aerobic activity. Anything that I'm doing that's at a low enough level that my body can supply oxygen to the muscles and I'm not gasping for breath. The anaerobic one is more of the higher intensity exercise. And so take that walking person and all of a sudden I make them sprint. and I make them sprint as fast as they can go. Well, at some point, they can't maintain that pace because they can no longer get enough oxygen to the muscles. That's when that becomes more of an anaerobic exercise. For a person in general, there's lots and lots of information out there now about high-intensity training, and lots and lots of programs out there touting that. It's basically interval training, and so it's interspersing some of that high activity level with some of your normal lower activity level. And with that kind of mix, you're finding that a lot of people are being successful in terms of weight loss.
So Larue, you got
Absolutely.
a ton of information. This is fantastic. How did you get started? What inspired you to get into fitness?
That's I tell you, when I was 6 years old, I, for some strange reason, gravitated towards exercise, fitness, and I was always an athlete as well. So that combination, I maintained my interest in that all the way through adulthood. And I would literally go to the library on Saturdays and bring back an armful of books, primarily pictures, but at least they were pictures of people exercising, and I would sit in my bed and just pore over these books. So my interest started back when I was 6 years old. I ended up going on to college, and I was a health science undergrad, and that even solidified my interest in how the human body works and exercise and fitness even more so. So that's how I kind of started. My bent, again, was from the athletic point of view, but as I went on, I found out, I got a better appreciation for what just general fitness would do for a person in their body as well.
Wow, this is great. I love to hear that because it really sounds like you're living in your calling.
Absolutely. Yeah, for me, this is my passion. This is a third career for me, but all the while I was practicing the other two careers, I was always involved in exercise and fitness. And for me, it was the best part of my day was when I would leave my regular job and go to work with my fitness clients. That was the part of my day that I always look forward to. Just
out of curiosity, what did you do in your other careers before taking on fitness full time?
I was a hospital administrator for 8 years, and then I went on to become a healthcare attorney for another 8 years.
Oh, right on. So you're still in the health and fitness, field in general.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, that's fantastic. I love hearing when people are able to find, their calling and really answering to it. So, Larue, to wrap this up, what's one thing that you'd tell someone that really wants to be successful in their fitness? What's one thing that they really should consider and focus on?
I tell you, the one word that I tell all of my clients that I consider to be probably the most important aspect of all of this is consistency. Mm-hmm. I think that you'll have, of course, we're coming up on New Year's very soon, and so oftentimes you'll have the New Year's resolution people that will go in for the first 2 or 3 weeks after the new year and hammer hard on their fitness and exercise, and a month later they're not doing anything. Mm-hmm. And then come springtime, they're in no better shape than they were at the beginning of the year. So I think that rather than this up and down, if you do something on a consistent basis, that's going to bode you much better than a high intense month of exercise and then not doing anything for the next 9 or 10 months.
Larue, how can listeners, if they're near you, near Vero Beach or Alexandria, Virginia, how can they connect with you, learn more, and find out how to work with you?
Sure. They can always visit my website at www.lecfitness.com, or they can contact me via email. This is all lowercase, larue.cook@lecfitness.com.
Larue, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. You've got a lot of great information, and I wish you continued success for you, LEC Fitness, and for all of your clients.
Thanks so much, Mark. I really appreciate it. I've enjoyed spending time with you.
This is a special edition of the show on health, nutrition, and fitness. On this segment, my guest is Dagny Kight from Chicago, Illinois, the author of Powerful Hunger and the forthcoming book titled Life Size. Dagny, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
So, Dagny, tell me a little bit about your work and the type of people that you help.
Well, Mark, I dealt with a weight problem all my life. I was one of those people that I was the chubby girl in school. I grew up to be the fat adult. Eventually, my weight reached 340 pounds. That was my highest weight. But I was always a very competitive, disciplined person. I could accomplish anything I set my mind to do, but I couldn't seem to tackle my weight problem, and that drove me crazy. And when I finally beat it in my early 40s, it's been about 10 years now, I wrote a book about the approach that I took. I wanted to share with other people who, like me, struggle with a lifelong weight problem.
Okay, so for starters, Dagny, let's dig into that. What was the key? Like, what was the breakthrough that was holding you back for all of those years? What was one of the biggest keys for you to get that solved?
Well, I got to say, after I started getting control of my weight, I put so much time and thought into trying to figure out, why did I fail for so many years?
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, and I have to thank you, because you haven't done something that happens to me so often. When I tell somebody I used to weigh 340 pounds and I lost 170 pounds, the first thing they say is, how did you do it? And I have found that is truly an impossible question to answer. The key really is kind of twofold. You have to figure out what is going to work for you personally. Quit listening to everybody's advice. Stop chasing after everything that you've heard works for somebody else, and accept that whatever you do, you're going to have to do it for the rest of your life. So this time of year, people are thinking about, what new diet do I go on? What new gym should I join? And, they get through it by about February or March, the latest. But if you're a person like me, you've got more than cosmetic weight to lose. Maybe you've dealt with weight for all or most of your life. The only way to take control of this is find what is going to work uniquely for you so that you can live with it, and you've got to accept it's going to be for the rest of your life.
So, Dagny, you work with a lot of clients, okay, in similar circumstances. Is that what you found with them? What is their number one biggest challenge or commonality that you've found that has been keeping them from successfully losing weight and controlling their weight?
Well, something that I've written a lot about is I think that our culture puts an awful lot of emphasis on weight and how you eat as like a character issue and indicative of your values, indicative of your personal abilities. And that's what made me so crazy. And I talked to a lot of people who said the same thing. They're hardworking, they're disciplined, they can get two arms around anything that they want to tackle in life, but their weight was a constant frustration. And our culture tends to want to believe that, first of all, that we can all make the same choices with the same amount of ease when it comes to food and how our bodies and minds respond to food. That is just not true. And second, you don't have to stop thinking of yourself as like somebody with a problem that needs fixing. I realized that things that I did were just natural for me. And when I acknowledged them without a sense of shame anymore, I could figure out how to deal with them. Like, for example, I would love to have donuts for breakfast every single day. And I could have donuts for breakfast every day for the rest of my life. And you know what? That's just the way I am. I'm always going to love donuts. So I just needed to figure out, okay, what can I do that's going to work in my daily life to start eating a good breakfast every day, feeling better about myself, get away from those darn donuts.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was all about figuring out what was finally going to work for me. And that's what I help clients do. I help them figure out an approach that's going to work uniquely for them.
So it sounds like it's a lot of nutrition choices here. How does that, incorporate in, like, say, fitness or workout?
Well, let me tell you this. I start by telling people I feel that we deal with four things, and we kind of work through each of these four things: nature, environment, resources, and time. The first thing we do, nature, is about what is natural for you. How do you respond to food? What are your habits? What do you like to eat? What do you not want to eat? What do you think you're going to be able to do in a regular routine, ongoing? Environment is about micro and macro. What is your living situation? Do you live with other people who influence what gets eaten in your house? Are you cooking? Do you buy a lot of food outside, prepared food, restaurant food and such? And then outside of your home, we are constantly bombarded by food stimuli. Here in the United States, we are just immersed in this world of food, and that can be real hard to escape. So from a food standpoint, on kind of like a daily routine, figure out, are you going to be somebody who will be willing to cook regularly? Have you never cooked before? Have you been eating a lot of prepared foods? Do you snack a lot? Again, it comes down to, what are you going to be able to do every day in an ongoing way so that you can stick with it? The last two, resources and time, they work together. It's just like any other major life change that we might want to begin. You have to consider, how am I budgeting the time? How am I budgeting my effort, my work, my money? You've got to figure out, what are you going to be able to do, and can you make the investment? Can you afford it in terms of work, effort, time, and of course, expense?
So I imagine if you get people started and get them going and they see some results, that's probably pretty exciting. But how do you keep folks motivated to stay on track and not quit? I imagine that must be a challenge.
It's a huge challenge, because I tell people, you deserve to see results from hard effort. When people work at it really hard, it's so difficult when you're not seeing results. And that's something that a lot of folks like me have to deal with. People like me, maybe we've tried so many things through the years, you start to get that feeling like, oh man, what am I going to try next? Everything has failed, or I lost weight in the past and I gained it back. It's so discouraging to feel like you're working really hard and you don't see results. So I try to help people focus on all the different things that they could be experiencing as they're bringing changes into their lives. Very quickly, if you start eating better than you were and you start doing some regular exercise, you can begin to notice within a week or two that you actually do feel better. You maybe start sleeping better already. You're noticing your energy is a little bit different. If you're having trouble with the actual weight and you're not seeing it change, I like to say our bodies are like black boxes. They are mysteries. They make us work so hard to figure out what is finally going to work. And the unfortunate reality is sometimes you have to work a lot harder than you thought you were going to. And all we can do is just keep persisting. You have to be consistent. It can be very tough. And when you're thinking in terms of, oh man, this is the rest of my life, I try to give people something to feel positive about on a daily basis. When you go to bed at night, do you feel good about the choices you made that day? And do you feel like you are truly taking control of your life? I think that's at the root of it all. It isn't as much about what we're eating or what we weigh, but do we feel really good about the choices that we're making in our lives? And do we feel that we're doing something positive for ourselves every single day?
Dagny, you talked about it a little bit at the beginning of our interview, but how did you get started? What inspired you to start spreading the word and getting into fitness and nutrition yourself?
When I started finally seeing some results from my own weight loss attempt, I started a blog, and I eventually had about 40,000 readers to my blog.
Wow.
And I reached a point, though, where I started to feel like I wanted to be the person I had become rather than looking backward so much. And I let go of the blog. Mm-hmm. I let go of a 40,000 reader blog. But because I felt at the time like I was ready to move on. Mm-hmm. But that was actually when I was working as a commodities broker at the Board of Trade, and I developed my first internet business. I developed a grains trading information website, and I learned a lot about online marketing and selling information, marketing information on a subscription basis. And I was, after the economic crash, I was able to sell that website. Mm-hmm. And I worked for about a year with the marketing firm that bought it. And I had a 1-year contract with them. And when that was done, I was kind of like, well, what do I want to do next? And I had ghostwritten a number of books for other people. I had never written a book for myself under my own name. By that point, I had maintained my weight for about 7 years. And I thought that was really important. You know, people who lose a lot of weight and then they act like they've got religion and they want to tell everybody about what they did. Well, talk to me in 5 years. Are you still the same weight? Mm-hmm. And so I felt by 7 years out, I had a lot of credibility. I had learned a lot. I had reflected a great deal on what the whole experience had been, how my life had changed. And I wrote my book. I wrote Powerful Hunger. I created a website to sell it. I started writing a blog again. And by then, Twitter and Facebook were really big, and I used social media to market it.
Wow, that's an impressive resume, Dagny. I had no idea. People are very
Mark.
lucky to have you, spreading the word about your health and your nutrition and your fitness part of your life. So to wrap things up, Dagny, what's one thing that you'd want to tell people if they want to be successful with their weight loss and they've struggled in the past? What's one thing that they should really consider?
I would say it sounds trite, and I certainly didn't invent this saying, but I like to say it doesn't work unless it works for you. Stop chasing after everything that somebody else says works. Stop trying to do something that doesn't get you all excited, or you have to force yourself to do it. You need to look inward and figure out what is really going to work for you, what's going to make you feel like you're making really good choices for yourself and your health and your future. It's all about finding your own path, because you do need to manage your weight and your health and your fitness for the rest of your life.
This has been absolutely terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time to join me on the program today. For our listeners who want to get a hold of you or connect with you and learn more, where should they go to find you?
Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me, Mark. I've really enjoyed chatting with you. My website is powerfulhunger.com. I scaled it back a little bit last year because I haven't been actively promoting my book as much. It does still sell every single month. It is available on Amazon. You'll find links to it on the website. That's powerfulhunger.com. And my blog archives are still there. And I will be launching a coming soon website at livelifesize.com for my forthcoming book.
I like that brand. Sounds great. Dagny, I appreciate it once again, and I wish you continued success for you, for your clients, for Powerful Hunger and your forthcoming book, Life Size. And thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Mark. I really appreciate it. And Happy New Year to everybody.
I'm Mark Imperial. This is a special edition of the show on health, nutrition, and fitness. On this segment, my guest is Deb Sommerhalder from Inner Sun Yoga, based out of Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Deb, welcome to the program.
Hello. Nice to be here.
So, Deb, tell us, it might seem obvious question, but tell us exactly the types of folks that you serve at Inner Sun Yoga Studio.
Well, mainly we serve adults ages 25 to about 60, but we also do have some kids classes as well, and some classes geared for seniors. So it does vary, wide range of ages.
Okay. Yeah, now tell me, it seems like you have a lot going on. So kind of tell me a little bit more about Inner Sun Yoga and what you really focus on.
Okay, we do focus on the real basic yoga with intro to yoga workshops and some classes that are slower paced so that they can really work on their form and alignment. We have classes that are more restorative for those people that just want to come in and focus on more breathing and relaxation and stress relief. We do offer many specialty workshops. One of our biggest hits that people absolutely love is the group acupuncture and yoga. So they get a basic acupuncture treatment along with a guided relaxation, and that's about an hour long. One of my favorite fun events that I do is Yoga Rocks the Fox at the Fox River Brewery in Oshkosh. We do that typically about once a month or once every other month. So it's an hour class at the brewery. In the summer, we're outside on the riverfront. In the wintertime, we're in the tap room. And then it's followed with beer and lunch if people want to stay for lunch. One of the signature events that I co-host with my girlfriend, she has a studio in Watoma, is Snoga. We've been doing that. I think this is our 8th year maybe, and it's an all-day event where we do some yoga, and then we have a drum circle with a local drummer, and usually there's about 80 people, so the drum circle is just amazing. And then we go out, we have lunch, chili feast, and then we go out snowshoeing, and you can cross-country ski, tube, ice skate, and then we come back in and we gather again for another yoga class, and that is our day, and it's a lot of fun, and it sells out every year. And kind of back to the studio, one of the other features of my studio that is kind of exclusive to the Fox Valley in the yoga studio is aerial yoga. It's done with silk hammocks.
I saw that on your site.
Yeah, it is so amazing. You get into the poses a lot deeper and with more comfort, and you have that support to hold on to. And the fun part of it is that you get off the ground, so you can feel like you're floating in the poses too. And the ending pose, Shavasana, is just ultimate blissful. It's wonderful. So that is a lot of fun. People really like that.
I'm a bit of a yogi myself. I've taken a few classes. I've been told I have a really great Savasana. So, but you guys, you really look like you've taken this to another level. I mean, tell me about this. First of all, yoga's tough. People think it's like soft, but it's tough. Tell me about the popularity. Yoga is hot now too. Do you remember a time when yoga wasn't so mainstream or hot?
Yeah, actually, I've had my studio now for about, I think I'm in year 11. And when I first started, it was just kind of pretty new here to the area. And so it was, really hard to get people to embrace it. But now, I mean, because I think people now are just finally realizing the benefits, how it's such a great complement to a lot of the other physical things we do. And people are really in need of doing things to relieve stress. And, it's one of the key ways to help with that. So it has really been evolving, and a lot more people are embracing it now than they did 10 years ago, at least in this area.
Yeah, so you're still seeing a lot of new beginners, or most people that come visit you, are they like already experienced in yoga, or do you still get newcomers?
We are getting a lot of newcomers, especially in the last week or so, a lot of calls. We always offer an intro to yoga workshop for sure in January and then throughout the year, but it typically will sell out. It's a great way for people to start, but there's always people trying it. And I think one of the reasons that it's even becoming more mainstream now is the physicians are recognizing it as a key to health and wellness. So they're recommending it to them, and they're seeking it out for that reason.
So tell me,
so
Deb,
not just as a trendy thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's a lot of information out there in yoga, and people are wanting to check it out. Is there any? Let's see. Tell me what it's like for a first time person coming to try yoga. Are they intimidated? What are the kind of questions that you're getting?
That is typically the reason that people hesitate. They're afraid. They think that everybody that comes into the studio is going to be really advanced and good, in their form and that, because out there in the media and what you see out on, on social media and that, there's a lot of pictures, obviously, where people are doing these crazy things. And, you start them where they're at, and they can just learn to be accepting. And it's actually fun to be in a class where there is someone that is a little more advanced, because that gives them some incentive to okay, I know they couldn't do this a long time ago, and look at where they're at now. But yeah, it can be very intimidating, and the thing that I hear even more than that is I don't have time. Most people, it's really hard to put that time into their day. And, you really need to make that time for yourself, because it's the most important thing you can do is take care of yourself in order to take care of everybody else. So,
oh, you know what? I have an expression.
Those are the two main things.
I have an expression that I tell everybody. Time's not a resource issue. Time's a priority issue.
Right.
Got to make that priority for yourself.
And put yourself at the top. Yeah,
so let me hit up a really important topic here, Deb. Women have, tons of choices and options for yoga clothing. What about the men?
That is a good question.
Let's face it, that's my major concern. I'm not going to yoga today. I have no idea what to wear.
I know. Comfortable. I don't know. I'm not a fashion person.
What do guys wear to your yoga classes that doesn't make them look
most of them wear
goofy?
There are some looser fitting fitness exercise kind of pants. That's what they wear. Some will wear bike shorts, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's more important. So this is the hard part, is when you do aerial yoga, it's almost like you should be wearing leggings. And I don't know if the men want to wear leggings, but some will wear shorts. But it's really hard to do aerial yoga in shorts. You really need to have covering on your legs and your arms. But so, yeah, that's a good question. Maybe somebody should design some men's yoga clothes.
I smell an opportunity for you, Deb.
I think Tana might have it.
The Inner Sun brand men's yoga apparel. So Deb, you've been doing this for a while. You've got a ton of experience and a lot of great information. What inspired you to get into yoga? Tell us how'd you get started?
Well, I was a fitness instructor for years, like 30 years, and taught for various places like the Y and the Rec. And my daughter was 16 at the time, and she's like, "Mom, let's go to a yoga class." So we went to a yoga class, and I fell in love with it the first time. And I was like, oh, I can see this carrying me through my elder years, whereas some of the things that I was doing at the time, I knew I wouldn't be able to do long term, because my body was starting to show signs of wearing out from that. So I started practicing yoga, and then I went to teacher training and started teaching it, and absolutely love it. And then about 6 years later, I opened my studio. So, yeah.
That's terrific.
My daughter.
I mean, that is absolutely terrific. I know it's a really great workout. It's really misleading when you look at it. You're thinking, how could you get a workout from that? But you really do. A lot of great. So to wrap this up, Deb, what's one thing that somebody should consider if they want to be really successful with their yoga and maybe coming in for the first time? What should they consider so that they have a great experience and turn it into a lifestyle?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, just let any expectations go, because everybody has to experience it for themselves. Give it a chance. One class is not going to be a make or break deal. You need to give it time. And there's so many different styles of yoga out there. And if you find the first one you didn't like, try something else. Don't give up. So come in with an open mind and find the fun in it, because it is really a lot of fun. It's amazing what your body can do that you never thought you could do. And sometimes it means taking a step back. Maybe it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could do Shavasana. This is awesome. This is why I'm here. You always hear, I'm here for the Shavasana. And that's the most important part of the class. So,
the guy
mm-hmm.
that you hear snoring in Savasana? That's me.
Because
it really does relax you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. So that would be, my key thing is just to come in with an open mind and give it a shot and have fun with it.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
Deb, for our listeners out there who are near Oshkosh or want to connect with you, learn more, and check you out, where should we send them? How do they find you?
Sure. It's innersunyogastudio.com. And the phone number is 920-716-3175. And just on that note, I am moving the studio again, probably in February, just across the street. So they'll still be able to find me, but it's going to be beautiful, and we're going to be in with massage therapists and everything. So it's going to be an awesome move to make. And we'll still have Ariel and all the wonderful things we have right now. So, yeah.
Oh, that sounds terrific. I'm going to have to make it a point to come visit you. Deb, it's been great having you. I've really enjoyed our conversation today. Thanks for taking the time and joining me on the program. And I wish you continued success for you, for Inner Sun Yoga Studio, and for all of your members.
Thank you. It was really fun.
That wraps up another episode of our Health, Nutrition, and Fitness Special Edition. If you know a remarkable expert, business, person, place, or thing that we should feature on the show, drop me a line on my email, radioguest@markimperial.com. That's radioguest@markimperial.com. Until next time, I'm Mark Imperial. Take care and make it a remarkable week.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.